It's March 24th, 2026, meaning it's been 20 years since the premiere of one of the most popular kid-coms of all time, Hannah Montana.
Airing on Disney Channel from 2006 to 2011, Hannah Montana follows teenager Miley Stewart, played by Miley Cyrus, who lives a secret double life as an international pop star Hannah Montana. Hijinks ensue. And for most of the series, the only ones who know are her friends Lily and Oliver, her dad Robbie Ray, and brother Jackson. So this show was very popular when it aired. You could argue it's the most popular Disney Channel show of all time, getting 4 seasons, a theatrical movie, CDs, games, toys, concerts, books, and well, shows like Even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire really set the foundation for the Disney sitcom formula, and that So Raven cemented it. I argue that Hannah Montana was just as important as a lot of shows that came afterwards, focused on characters that were either famous or trying to be famous. I really think that the ripples of Hannah Montana continue to this day.
With all that said, the show's reception seems to be rather mixed.
I remember when the show was airing, I watched it, but you would never get me to admit it. And well, like a lot of shows, nostalgia has made admitting liking the show easier. It still seems there's a bit of hate for the show. I had not seen any of this since it ended back in 2011, outside of the 2 crossover episodes I reviewed on the second channel. But through the first months of 2026, I rewatched the whole series, and for the first 2 seasons, I was surprised how good it really was. The supporting cast was great, I laughed, the messages were fine, and they were entertaining with very few episodes I would say were bad or mediocre.
Then we got to Season 3.
I don't know if I'd say Season 3 was bad, but it did seem like a pretty big dip in quality. And just in that season, we had a fair amount of bad and mediocre episodes. He Ain't a Hottie, He's My Brother was this annoying what-if scenario that you could tell was a dream from the first minute. Killing Me Softly with His Height was an episode that had good intentions, where Miley goes on a date with Arnold from Spy Kids 3, but he's short and in the end realizes she's being shallow. But the whole episode keeps making fun of him for being short, so it rings a bit hollow. Papa's Got a Brand New Friend was just kinda mean and unpleasant. Knock Knock Knockin' on Jackson's Head was an amnesia plot, you know, the thing everyone loves. And of course, this was the season the movie came out, and look, if your nostalgia can allow you to forgive its flaws, that's great. But I thought this was a mediocre rom-com and a pretty poor Hannah Montana movie. And even in episodes that I would classify as good, they seemed to amplify some of the show's worst elements.
And in the middle of that season came 2 episodes that pissed me off so much I almost considered doing a double feature.
Once, Twice, 3 Times Afraidy was annoying with bad comedy, kind of creepy because this man looks like he's pushing 40, pretending to date a 15-year-old, and I could have gone with that and played it safe, but instead we're going to cover the only episode of Season 3 that managed to hit 7.0 on IMDb.
Why is this the highest rated episode of the season? I have my thoughts, but let's just get into reasons why I think it sucks. This is the Season 3 episode, Promma.
So we open up and I can immediately tell you one of the worst parts of Season 3, the Lily Oliver romance.
It's too late, but don't hate. Ollie's already got a prom date.
Oh, and you can have your eggs and you can have your bacon, but you can't have Lily because she is taken.
Oh, did you see that?
Now, can I see these 2 being a couple? Sure.
Personally, I got tired of every show I watched growing up pairing up at least one guy and one girl in the group together because I wanted to see more male-female friendships, especially between straight characters. I think my favorite That's So Raven episode is the one where Raven and Eddie tried being a couple and it didn't work. But to be fair, I can see Lily and Oliver being a couple.
The problem is that not only were they ungodly annoying about it, but it became their defining character trait.
Lily and Oliver were both funny and interesting characters, but after they became a couple, that's pretty much all they were. A couple. Some didn't like that Oliver was gone through most of Season 4. I thought it was great because at least it made Lily more fun again. Anyway, this lame joke brings us another problem that's unfortunately plagued most of the series.
Being so desperate, so needy, so...
Ask me, ask me, ask me, ask me, ask me, ask
So that.
Ask me.
Miley Cyrus was not a good comedic actress.
I know you don't go into Disney sitcoms to get the most brilliant comedic writing, but most of the young actors like Emily Osment, Mitchell Musso, Moises Arias, and even some of the side characters did a good job to make some of these jokes work. Miley, unfortunately, spent most of the series trying to act funny rather than actually be funny. I don't blame her, she was a kid, and I think she did a good job in the dramatic parts, but her comedic acting just wasn't that great, or at the very least, if she was gonna be comedic, she should have been more deadpan like her dad. Well, anyway, Miley wants Hottie Lamati, with the swimmer's body, to ask her to prom, giving him hints in the most desperate ways.
Ask me to prom. Ask me to prom.
Single people.
So sad.
You are so cute.
You are cute.
You're cuter.
Oh, thank you.
You're the
I
cutest
think
girl
you're
I've ever
cute.
seen.
Oh, I-
Did you?
Yep, that scene just summed up the worst of season 3 in a nutshell.
The next few minutes are Miley trying to give Hottie Lamati hints, which is already annoying enough, but it's a little creepier given this actor was not only 23 years old, but he was Flash Thompson in The Amazing Spider-Man. And you don't need that in your life, Miley.
Quick, there's Gabe. Give me your perfume.
Oh, okay.
Hurry.
No, that's not my perfume. That's my... Safety siren.
The hell do you need that for?
This whole part is an insult to comedy. Eventually, she just tells him she wants to go to prom with him, but turns out he's actually going with Teresa Hartman. Which, I mean, can you blame him? They're not only closer in age, but she has a promising future in Hallmark Christmas movies.
I bet for prom she'll even shave her back.
What?
Oh, this is actually another problem with the series. Miley Stewart is an asshole.
Like, there's having flaws, but throughout the series, she's just kinda mean and bitter towards a lot of people, and never really seems to learn. It really is amazing that the worst thing about Hannah Montana is the main character, Hannah Montana. Well, now dateless, Miley is upset she has no one to go to junior prom with. Girl, you think you got it bad? For my junior prom, the girl I asked got grounded a few days beforehand, and she set me up with her friend. Oh look, a nerd trying to ask a pretty girl to prom. And by nerd, I mean he wears glasses and dorky clothes. He's also tall and thin, got decent hair. Honestly, a change of wardrobe, he would look just as good as Hottie Lamati. Again, this was me junior prom. Try harder. This is Aaron, and the girl turns him down.
But to tell you the truth, I'm waiting for somebody better to ask. Sorry.
What a bitch.
Well, Miley feels sorry for him and says the following.
I saw what happened with Amy, and I think it's totally unfair. Any girl in this school would be lucky to go to prom with a guy as nice as you.
Really? You mean that?
Yeah, you're great, and don't you forget it.
Will you go with me?
Miley, what did you think was gonna happen?
So instead of just saying she's going with someone else or has other plans, she says yes. Hey, here's an idea. Do a she's all that and give him a makeover. Maybe you can even get him a date with someone else. Well, I guess it was nice of her to do that.
Gabe, prom's gonna be so much fun.
Ha! Take that, girl who's going to prom with a boy I wanted to go with but didn't have the courage to ask.
Anyway, time for the subplot. Jackson's becoming lazy after dropping out of college in Tennessee, so I guess that makes the movie completely pointless. Jackson is one of the funniest characters in the show. Unfortunately, this subplot is mostly devoid of comedy.
You gotta have some plans for a future.
I have a plan. Inherit half your money, and if that runs out, write a tell-all book about Miley. Done and done.
Though it does still have its moments.
Robbie tells him he's going to enroll in Malibu Community College, and while Jackson tries to distract him with flattery, it doesn't work. So he decides to rehash a gag from season 1.
Dad, I don't feel so good.
But it doesn't work because he was an idiot and forgot to put the cap back on his pen.
I just want to thank you for being brave enough to have a second child.
Honey, we all develop at our own pace.
Yeah, but Dad, he's 31 years old. When do you expect him to fully develop? When he's 60?
I still can't believe Jason Earls was that old when making the show.
Hello?
Hey, Hannah, it's David Archuleta.
Oh my god, it's the guy from the X Factor!
David's performance is very, very bad. I can't say it's Aaron Carter and Popstar bad, maybe even a little better than Sean Kingston in Sweet Life on Deck, but he is a little worse than Cher Lloyd in Big Time Rush.
I love that I've done so many of these musicians trying to act that I can start to rank them.
So he wants to perform a duet with Hannah Montana, but the only time he's able to do it is that night, which is the same night as the prom.
I know it's last minute, but I'm leaving town tomorrow and I just really wanted to work with you.
Fuck you, David Archuleta. You can't just throw that on someone at the last minute. So instead of just saying no, I have other commitments and maybe reschedule for when he's back in town, or she can go to him, I'm sure that's possible, she says yes.
Okay, Daddy. I think you need a little bit of perspective here. See, if I go to the prom with Aaron, I make one guy happy, but if I do this duet with David, we make millions of people happy.
How many times can a girl learn the same goddamn lesson and not retain it?
Robbie Ray, you really are just a terrible father. Your son's an idiot and your daughter's a selfish idiot. Well, she goes to Aaron's place and tries to come up with an excuse.
Aaron, look, in life, funny things happen, but... No,
Just say a family emergency came up.
Well, she finds it hard, especially seeing how happy his grandma is.
We flew in from Pittsburgh as soon as we got the news. Last-minute flights are expensive, so we had to dip into our meat money.
You know, you're already here. You don't have to return to Pittsburgh.
Again, this guy from a looks perspective is perfectly attractive and we don't know much about him. In fact, why couldn't the date be someone like Dandruff Danny? We at least had a few seasons of getting to know him. So how does Miley break it to him? By saying an emergency came up like a normal person? Nope, she goes for the stupidest excuse. None.
which, you know, it makes us human and separates us from the animal kingdom, which reminds me, someday we should go to the zoo, and then I can explain to you why I couldn't go to the prom with you, which, you know, we'll have a big old laugh. See you at school. Love to gam. Bye.
Wow. A plethora of excuses you could have made, and you go with nothing. My God, you're an idiot.
Don't worry, Aaron. Things may suck now, but you're gonna have a recurring role in the Goldberg, so things will get better. Well, back with Robbie and Jackson, turns out he didn't register, and again, I'll give credit to a good joke.
I went down there, I stood in line, the woman called out next, and I didn't want to be next. I didn't even want to be next to next. Or next to the next to the next to the next.
I think you skipped the next.
No, that next left before I did.
So Jackson says he's not college material, but it turns out he's just scared.
It's totally natural for someone to be scared about going to college.
I'm terrified.
Again, he seemed to be okay when he was enrolled in Tennessee, but I guess we'll just ignore that. Okay, I do like how it brings up how scary going to college can be, but most of the scene is played for laughs, and it kind of rings hollow when Robbie brings up working at Rico's for the rest of his life, and we get this assault on comedy.
Jackson, wake up!
Miley Stewart's Hannah Montana! Oh no, I just gave up the secret!
What secret? She announced it at a Ray's final farewell concert 50 years ago!
And by farewell concert, we mean on Jay Leno.
I gotta register for college!
So remember, kids, college is the only option, and if you don't go, you'll be a loser who works a dead-end job for the rest of your life.
Again, college worked for me, but maybe a trade school would work better for this kid. Okay, we finally get to the one great thing about this episode, the song.
When I saw you over there, I didn't mean to stare, but my mind was everywhere, I want to know you.
I actually think this is one of the best Hannah Montana songs, and I've been listening to it non-stop for the last few weeks. It's a shame it's attached to a crappy episode. David hands her a rose, causing her to have flashbacks to Aaron. All 2 scenes. Again, we barely know this guy. Well, that's enough for her to leave.
And what is it? Oh no, when I called you thought I was David Cook.
Who?
So she gets home, gets dressed, goes to Aaron's, takes pictures for the family, and makes it to prom for what will probably amount to about 20 minutes of dancing.
Okay, well, at least it ends on a nice note.
Nope, we need to end on more old people jokes, because that was such brilliant comedy when we did it earlier.
Go fish! Liar! I know you got 5s.
Look, I'm pretty sure Ed, Edd n Eddy is the only show that had the characters old and made it funny. It reached its peak there. Stop trying.
And go!
Guys, in terms of episodes I've reviewed on Kids Are Smarter Than This is the worst one since, like, Girl Trouble half a decade ago. At least.
I'm sorry, but a good song and an alright ending do not make up for the horrible comedy, stupid character decisions, and just not really making me care one way or another whether she goes to prom or does the song. I hated Miley in this episode. I hated Lily and Oliver. I hated Robbie Ray for saying that the only future for Jackson is college. I didn't like this one. But again, for some people, the song, celebrity cameo, and decent ending are enough. And if it is for you, great. It's certainly more ambitious than other bad episodes of the show, and thankfully season 4 did improve and end the show on a good note. Except for the whole Jake cheating thing, that was bullshit.
But yeah, happy anniversary, Hannah Montana. You weren't perfect, you certainly had your flaws, but I think you earned your place in Disney Channel history. So, I'll see you all in April, and thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye.